Welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
What a day of results, man. Today in the Champions League. What a day of results, man.
So many goals. So many goals. I was switching between like 6-7 games throughout this entire time, man. We got absolutely entertained. This is the new Champions League format in its finest. And I want to start off with this. Full disrespect intended. I had full...
Get it right.
Intended.
There you go.
There was no doubt in my mind that Liverpool were going to thrash Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, man.
Zero doubt.
Not even when it was 0-0 at halftime? Really?
Because we've seen it the last 4 weeks. Liverpool, for some reason, keep games tight in the first half, and then they kill them. They kill the opposition in the second half. And Leverkusen did well in this first half. But I just knew that Liverpool were going to continue to play their style of football, which always tires out their opponent. No matter what, the last 5-6 games, Liverpool have done the exact same thing. They defend, they keep it tight, and then they kill you in the second half.
And they do it with back-to-back goals within 2 minutes once again. A repeat of a sentence I said just a few days ago when they did the same thing to Brighton, where they flipped the result, got 2 goals back-to-back. Same thing today, starting off with a beautiful Curtis Jones pass inside into the box, and Luis Diaz is at the end of it, calmly receives it, already knows what he's going to do with it, and it's a cheeky approach, dinking it over the keeper, 1-0, and then within minutes, we get a second goal in this game to give us a 2-0 lead, and by that point, kill off Bayer.
Kill him off, bro. And Curtis Jones, just by the way, first off, great assist to release Luis Diaz. Beautiful cheeky chip over the goalkeeper to get Liverpool up 1-0. But Curtis Jones, man, I've highlighted the comeback of Trent Alexander-Arnold this season. I've noted even Cody Gakpo's influence and impact. We've noted Mohamed Salah's consistency over the last 7 seasons. I haven't said anything about Curtis Jones yet fully. And I want to now because not just in this game, I think this is the best form he's ever been in his entire career. He's playing the best football I've ever seen him do in a Liverpool jersey. And I don't know if it's an Arne Slot thing or just positionally where he's playing on the pitch. But, dude, he's so impactful now. He's nonstop box to box. But this is the most influential I've ever seen Jones offensively with this Liverpool team.
Yeah, I think he's always been under the microscope of Liverpool fans for the past 4 years as he's been coming through the academy, got minutes with Klopp's midfield, but never really got the full trust of Klopp unless there were injuries involved. What we've seen from him, though, has been a step up in his game. I think also due to just kind of his age. He's a young player, and I think he's just developed into a much better player under Arne Slot. But I'm glad that in a way he's proving a lot of Liverpool fans that I've seen within the fan base wrong, sticking it out and holding his own in the midfield with McAllister and Gravenberch and thriving as well. I remember an old criticism of his was that he would hang on to the ball for way too long, wasn't able to make quick decisions like how the rest of the midfielders did for prime Liverpool. But now, he had an incredible assist to Mohamed Salah in the Brighton match that gave us the game winner on the counter. He had a great one-touch play to get the ball back, sends it forward to Mo Salah. That was great decision-making and timing. And then today, bro, the timing on that pass of that Luis Diaz ball, right before Luis Diaz gets offside, sneaks it in. Curtis Jones has arrived because he can score, he can assist, he can hold the ball, retain it as well. He's playing, I agree, his best football right now, and it makes me really, really happy because he was doubted for a while, man, and I think he's proving a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, honestly, I thought he was just going to be a very good average Premier League player, and that's not a bad thing to be in one of the toughest leagues in the world, but the way he's playing right now, he has completely proved me wrong, and wow, what a new asset basically Liverpool now have going into the rest of the season if Jones is playing like this.
And then, it's just crazy the players that we can highlight for Liverpool, but obviously the man that has earned the award of getting highlighted today, the man of the match, Luis Diaz. Hat-trick.
Yeah.
Hat-trick in this game, starting off with that cheeky finish, but then progressing to get 2 really solid finishes as well in this game. This is also a really big part of Liverpool's offense, is having an explosive, clinical Diaz, giving me shades of prime Sadio Mane, prime Roberto Firmino today with the clinicality he had with those opportunities. We haven't seen it truly in the past couple of years since we acquired him, where he's been a deadly finisher. Yeah. But now he's stepping it up to those levels, and you pair it up with Mohamed Salah doing his magic on the wings and Cody Gakpo getting on the end of these opportunities as well. Diaz is evolving too, bro. He's evolving too. And I think he's also becoming a very big piece that we saw shine today.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. I mean, a hat trick in the Champions League. Come on, bro. He's going to remember this for a long time, especially against, a decent Leverkusen side. But just another thing to note about Liverpool watching these last 4 or 5 weeks, they have probably the healthiest team rotation probably in all of Europe, man. Last week, Endo's at the start. Darwin Nunez at the start. This week, Luis Diaz comes into the starting lineup as well as Curtis Jones. Yeah. It's this really nice rotation where Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Jota when he's healthy, Darwin Nunez, all are in rotation. And in the midfield, you have Gravenberch, who's really made that position his own this season, which has allowed Arne Slot to then rotate Curtis Jones, Endo, McAllister, and also Szoboszlai. So he can just play with so much rotation, keeping them healthy. Every week, it's a slightly new starting lineup. It's brilliant to see. And I think it's another factor as to why Liverpool is probably the hottest team in Europe right alongside Barcelona.
Dude, top of the Premier League. And now at this moment, top of the Champions League with 4 wins out of 4 games, 12 points. Liverpool leads the table against what I thought would be their biggest challenge so far in the Champions League, and Bayer Leverkusen, who just look a step behind what they were last year, man.
Yeah, and that's why I wasn't surprised by this result at all. It's why I didn't even give them a chance going into this game, because it has been coming, and it hurts me because we saw what they were last year, and we were so excited to see what they could do in the Champions League specifically this year. But I don't know, man. Maybe Atalanta took their aura in that final, bro. I think that's what happened, because low-key, ever since that final, it's just been a weird decline, a very steady decline. And we said it, honestly, basically since the second or third match week of the Bundesliga, Leverkusen don't look the same. And I think this 3-0 result here just makes 4-0 result here just makes complete sense based off of Leverkusen's current form.
Oh yeah, and I mean you can say the same thing about, I would say, Girona as well, going through a big spell of negativity. I will touch on them in a second, but I want to go through the biggest headlines right now. Liverpool secures themselves as literally a contender for the UEFA Champions League now with this result, in my opinion. They look like one of the favorites. Where we did have notable results in terms of contenders going down, I mean, make your pick, bro. You want to talk about Sporting CP dominating Manchester City? Or you want to talk about AC Milan pulling off a victory at the Bernabeu with Americans excelling, winning 3-1?
Yeah, it warms my heart when I see Real Madrid lose. I want to start here because it's beautiful to see. Ever since that Dortmund game, it has been a crazy series of results for Madrid, getting snubbed at the Ballon d'Or, then getting murdered by Barcelona right before that, and now a shock win of AC Milan coming to the Bernabeu, winning 3-1. Madrid had a couple chances, but overall, I think Milan completely deserved this. They were more clinical. They showed up, and not only does it warm my heart to see Madrid lose, but it warms my heart to see Pulisic, my boy, get an assist on that first corner kick, delivering it to Thiago to get Milan back into the game. But then it also is beautiful to see on that second goal that gave them the go-ahead goal. He passes it to Leao. Leao shimmies in the box, gets a shot off, and an incoming Alvaro Morata coming in like a freight train, bro. And he bangs it in.
Yes, sir.
And then from then on out, Milan just saw this game out, bro.
They saw this game out. Mike Maignan, I think, had an incredible performance, getting some amazing saves in this game. Real Madrid tried their best, but man, once again, they don't look as dangerous as they have looked in the past. And AC Milan, what I loved about them in this game was their passage of play, the way that they connected with each other. The interchange was really, really good. They came with a plan. Fonseca had these guys drilled going into this game, and they executed it to perfection. Even when it did seem like Real Madrid was going to get back into the game, when Vinny Jr. tied it with the penalty kick, even then, they respond with that Morata goal, and then they get a third one behind Reindeers to give themselves a 2-goal lead, and Real Madrid can never come back from it. Madrid, bro.
Yeah.
Madrid.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse, and I say this one's concerning because they could have gotten back into this game. They had a lot of possession. Milan were happy to absorb a lot of the pressure, and I don't think they looked desperate in their defense, but Madrid had a lot of the ball. And usually, at least in the past 2 seasons, when Madrid have a lot of the ball, they've always found a way to get back in it. But they didn't today. The chances that they had, they completely fluffed. They skied it, and they just looked all around sloppy offensively.
2 players specifically that I thought looked bad today, Bellingham and Mbappe. For Mbappe, it's been a repeat. Gets himself in great positions. His runs off the ball are incredible, and he's always there to receive it with a through ball or a cross coming in. I love what I see from Mbappe in terms of how he gets into those positions. But what he does with the ball once he's there has been shameful. Yeah. Woeful, man, these past few months. And it happened again today. It's a repeat of the performance that we've been seeing from him the past couple months. And then Bellingham had a couple, I would say 3 opportunities where he just completely skied it. Just maybe it wasn't the clearest chance, but man, he does not look as accurate as he did last year. Vinny tried his absolute best. I liked what I saw from him today. He was doing really good on the wings, creating opportunities and sending balls in, but no one was really there to help him out this time. And so those 2 players for me offensively stuck out as just once again having poor performances offensively, knowing that Real Madrid need that from them in these moments.
Yeah, everyone outside of Mbappe, we noted it in that Barcelona thrashing. The energy's just been off, man. It's been really, really off, and I think it's affecting their performance on the pitch. Because, as you've noted, positionally, I mean, this is the same Madrid. They are cooking on the wings. Vinicius is doing his normal thing. The midfield's incredibly active. They have a lot of the ball. But when it gets into that final third, it's a mentality thing at this point, or it's an energy aspect that maybe Ancelotti's getting wrong. And it's all speculation, man. I don't know. Is it Mbappe? Is it the presence of Mbappe on this team that is just thrown off the feng shui of this 11, man? I don't know. It's really hard to tell. And then it doesn't help that Mbappe's form is also shit. Yeah. It just doesn't help them. So it could make kind of sense if Mbappe was, scoring, or at least, just more of his old self. But he really isn't, man. Like every touch, every shot, I just don't have the confidence that I once had in him to do what he once did. So, yeah, it's just not looking good for Madrid in general.
Madrid in 17th place with 2 wins, 2 losses at this moment, 6 points. And then Milan, with this victory, puts themselves in 18th place with the same sort of result. They're bouncing back, though, because their first 2 Champions League games, they had lost them. They got a victory against Club Brugge 3-1 in the prior round. So this is a good result to get back-to-back times now. 2-game win streak in the Champions League. Interested to see what Milan can do with this momentum and the way that they're looking now. Much more confident than how they looked early on in the Champions League.
Yeah, I need to see more from Milan, to be completely honest. This is a good result, but it is against a unstable Real Madrid. Milan obviously know the potential that they have, man. But even in Serie A, they've been a little inconsistent. They've been a little inconsistent in the Champions League.
100%.
If they can just find this exact form week in, week out, Milan could be a really deadly team in the Champions League. So I'm hoping that they can just believe in themselves and play with this chemistry every week.
And so just on that same note of really confusing performances and lack of energy, we have a thrashing, bro, of Sporting CP in Lisbon defeating Manchester City 4-1. Another hat-trick, Gyökeres, against one of the top teams in the world. Just continues to prove himself offensively, getting these goals, scoring 2 penalties in this game. Maxi Araujo getting on the board right after the second half started. A game where Sporting CP had gone down 1-0 in with Phil Foden scoring a goal 4 minutes into the game. But then after that, it was just a Sporting takeover. And Manchester City had a slight moment where maybe they could have gone back into the game when they were down 3-1 with Erling Haaland hitting the post on a penalty, kind of just signifying the poor nature that they're in right now and the struggle they're having in getting these results. On that same Madrid wave, honestly, bro, having a bad week. Having a bad week after losing to Bournemouth. Now they followed it up with a 4-1 loss to Sporting CP. What a game for them.
And I think this is the first time Manchester City have lost 3 games in a row, because they also lost in the League Cup.
Oh, you're right.
This is the first time they've lost 3 games in a row since 2018.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, it's been a bad week for City. It's been a real bad week for their standards, bro. Yeah, pretty crazy. But somewhere, Ruben Amorim's smiling, man. Because those first 2 goals from Sporting were brilliant. Just really good one-touch football in the midfield and then finding a runner and releasing him. And he just completely breaks the City defense. The second time it was Maxi Araujo right after the second half kickoff. And it's just really ruthless football from Sporting and a really clinical finish from Maxi Araujo, the ex-Toluca man. And just really good football from Sporting in general. They get 2 penalties later on to finish it out. But just what a result for Sporting, but I think more so just what a weird performance for Manchester City. Yeah. Like Madrid, just not looking up for it and just looking slow, not looking like their old selves, really.
I'm so intrigued, man. I'm so intrigued by this Sporting CP side because in my early days, I used to be very naive when it came to teams outside of the top 5 in Europe making notable runs in the Champions League. Very naive. I was so innocent. I didn't know the world back then. And I got hurt basically every year, investing myself in the Benficas of the world, the FC Portos, the Ajaxes, the PSVs. Nothing good came from that, man. Nothing. And so now I'm feeling a little bullish here because I feel like I've been kind of cautious when it comes to investing myself in whatever the Sporting CP team is trying to sell to me. Because every week it's looking better and better. Undefeated in their domestic league. And now getting results in the Champions League the way they did today with an incredible striker up top that even him I've been hesitant on really jumping on board with. The numbers are insane. I think with this hat trick, 23 goals in total for this season. It's November, bro. November has just now started. He has that many goals. I'm hesitant to really jump on board this Sporting CP train, but is this the game where you finally go, you know what? Sporting CP is real. Is this the game? Or should I hold off, man? I need help here. I really do. And I'm asking the viewers as well. If you're a Sporting CP fan, sell me the product because I'm a little curious to buy, but I'm also scared of what it might do to me.
I don't buy until that team's in the quarterfinals.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is like old man talk where I've seen this shit before, you know? Like, I've been in the dirt, I've been in the mud for way too long that you should be cautious because this happens not every year, but there is a team outside of the top 5 that does find really good form in the group stage, right? But have they ever gone on a serious run once they reach the knockout stage? The answer is no, right? Ajax was the last team to actually do it.
Ajax was the only one.
They were the only one.
Maybe Monaco. But they're top 4.
Monaco. Yeah, Monaco would, but would you consider them? I don't know, because top 5 league. Ajax is the only one outside of top 5 that has actually done it in the last, 15 years?
Yeah, I would say so.
So that's why I say you should be cautious, man. I think you should be very cautious. If Sporting can keep this up, though, it'll be brilliant to watch. And then maybe you can start investing a little bit. You know, maybe you start throwing a couple dollar bills on the table once that round of 16 happens. And then once they reach the quarterfinals, then I think you can fully go and purchase it. But I just think so much more football has to be played before you can get into a team that's not in the top 5 league.
Yeah, and a big part of this is the mental engine that is Ruben Amorim. When is he joining Manchester United? Do you know?
I think like very soon, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
They're not waiting till the end of the year. I was like, maybe in the back of my mind, because the way he's got this team cooking right now, I'm like, I want to see it out. I want to see a full year out of Ruben Amorim with Sporting CP and seeing what he can achieve.
Then, I don't know. Is he going to say that?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that's another thing with teams outside the top 5 is they usually get screwed over mid-season. I remember Benfica had an incredible group stage one year. It was in the 2022-2023 season when Enzo Fernandez was lighting up Europe as one of the best midfielders in the Champions League. And then in January, Chelsea buy him. And then Benfica, harsh. All of a sudden, lose their best midfielder, right? So it's very tough. And if Amorim's immediately going to United, it's the same damn thing, bro. It's so harsh. It's so tough. And that's why it's so much more difficult if you're outside the top 5.
Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Are you buying into this Sporting CP team? Because results-wise, second place in the Champions League right now, 10 points, 3 wins, 1 draw, right behind Liverpool. ridiculous what they've done so far. And Manchester City falls to 6 at this moment. So I'm interested to see what this Manchester City team does. Is it really as simple as just injuries have fucked them over? Because we saw De Bruyne come in like the 60th or 70th minute, and we have other players just missing completely. Nathan Ake hasn't been playing, and they started a young player in center back position today. I don't want to say his name because it's a little vulgar. Have you seen his fucking name, bro?
No. Like
Pusey. Pusey.
Okay.
Pusey, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, you gotta change that, man. You gotta go by your first name.
We're moving on. Man. That's one of those.
We're moving on, man. What was another notable result that you saw here? Because those were the games that I was really focusing on. Was the big ones today? Did you catch any other ones that happened here?
Yeah, I caught a lot of
tongue twister.
Yeah, I caught a little of a lot of games here. To be honest, I saw a little of a lot of games. So let's go Lille Juventus, because Lille have gotten some very big results in the Champions League. This is their best Champions League start ever in their entire club history. So I was very interested to see, could they get another massive win, this time hosting Juventus, who are a good side. I wouldn't say they're an impressive side, but they are a good side. And it starts off with Zegrova cooking Cabal. Turning, absolutely cooking him.
So hype.
And then finding Jonathan David on a beautiful reverse pass. And David takes it so cleanly, bro. So cleanly, lights it up. They'll go up 1-0. And then the game settles in a little bit. That very sturdy Juve defense kind of took over. They get more of the ball. They'll kind of tire out a little bit. Second half happens. Conceição, the Portuguese, draws a penalty. He completely forces it, but it is a penalty, I guess. It's just one of those where there's contact. The defender didn't really lunge, but he doesn't get the ball. Conceição draws the penalty. Vlahovic steps up. It's 1-1. And then pretty much for the rest of the match, it was a stalemate. Juve probably could have done more, but again, their offense just isn't dynamic enough, man. Fair. And I think this is going to be a very recurring thing for Juve, where they have a lot of the ball, they keep games tight, but for them to actually win matches, I just don't think they have the offense, to be completely honest. And for Lille, I think this is a good result, all things considered. If they could just play their dynamic football for longer, man, I think they could find a lot of joy. But that might be the caveat here for Lille. They have some exciting players, but it does die out a lot of the times when they play. Yeah, both of these teams on 7 points right now. If I had to pick one to trust more, it would be Lille, though. It would be Lille. It would be Lille, with the way that I've seen them kill the Madrid teams so far. Those were the two victories, was against Atletico Madrid, against Real Madrid, and now they tie Juventus. Yeah, they're in 12th place now, Juve in 10th. I know you're on a little bit of a Juve hate train ride here. Still the same feeling then with Juve? They're in 10th. They are. It's just that I just wish they were more impressive, because they have a good foundation in their squad. Kalulu, I think, is a great center back. Di Gregorio from Monza, I think, is a great goalkeeper. Kefren Thuram is actually a really mobile midfielder as well. But just up top, man, like, they have Kenan Yildiz, for example, the Turkish winger. But, I mean, he's not really an output guy. He's not really an assister or a goal scorer. So I just think that's kind of a miss. Like, Yildiz is great if you have a goal scorer, if you have a guy that's really creative. But if Yildiz is your best player, then I think you're doing something wrong from a scouting perspective. Vlahovic needs service, and I just don't think he gets it from his supporting cast, to be completely honest. And what you get is Juve, losing to Stuttgart in the last round, and then needing a penalty to draw against Lille. So Juve could be doing so much more, but I just don't think they're going to this season. So maybe those 10 points that they have, or 7 points that they have, are a little indicative of the teams they face. They've played PSV, they beat them. Then they beat Leipzig, who is showing their true colors now. And then they lose to Stuttgart, need a penalty to tie Lille. That's who they had. They haven't really faced like an elite team yet. I think that's when they'll get exposed on the main stage. You'll be there to watch. And I'll be there to watch, bro. That's why I watched this game, because I was hoping Lille could get the victory. They almost did. Did you have any eyes on what was happening in Celtic? Where Celtic had amazing scenes at home.
defeating Leipzig 3-1, bro. All I saw was like highlights of the goals that went in, and just the crowd was losing their minds. What a result for Celtic, man, who now with this victory here moves up to 13th place. 2 wins, 1 draw, only 1 loss. Okay. That's incredible for Celtic.
I love to see that, actually. Great. Yeah. I didn't see any of this match, and I didn't even catch a highlight, unfortunately. But I did see 3-1, right?
Yeah, 3-1.
3-1 at home. What an awesome result. And only 1 loss. That's great.
It's intriguing, bro.
Yeah, that's very, very good. Brilliant to see. I need to catch more Celtic football.
Yeah, they started their Champions League campaign by defeating Slovan Bratislava, in my opinion, the worst team in this tournament, 5-1.
Yeah.
They then lose to Dortmund 7-1. Okay?
Interesting.
Stay with me. They then tie Atalanta 0-0 away from home.
That's big.
Big result right there. Big result. And then they follow it up with defeating Leipzig 3-1.
Yeah.
Greatest Scottish team we've ever seen of all time in the Champions League so far.
I mean, honestly, if they can keep this up, right? But because a couple of years ago, it was like the first time we ever seen Celtic and Rangers both in the Champions League group stage. But it's good to see Celtic actually have something to give here. If they can keep up their form, I think it'll be really exciting. For Leipzig, though, man, oh my God, bro. It's just terrible results over the last couple of weeks in the Bundesliga. And now this.
Nah, but low-key, they should put New York Red Bulls here instead, dude. They'd have a much better performance. Bro, 4 games, 4 losses. Sorry, I got confused with that. 4 games, 4 losses. Oh, they haven't won or tied a single match. They're in 31st place with a -5 goal differential, conceding 9 goals in the process. They're one of the worst teams, and honestly, they could be a nominee for being one of the most disappointing teams in general, because every team below them is a team in a below 8 league in Europe, bro. We're talking about Sturm Graz, Red Star Belgrade, Salzburg. Like, it's Leipzig who's right there with them, bro. Embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing, man. And it's just so frustrating because going into this season, there was, something about German football to watch out for. Stuttgart having an incredible season last year. Leipzig keeping all of their players from a decent season last year, hoping, okay, maybe they can do some improvements and become an actual force in Europe. And they do this. It's so frustrating. And then Dortmund have been weird. Dortmund have been a little weird. I think the only team that maybe could give us something is going to be Bayern, but they already proved that they can't beat the elite teams in Barcelona. So it's just like Bundesliga football in general is low-key just disappointing.
Weird year. Yeah, weird year.
Yeah. And speaking of Dortmund, let's just go to their result against Sturm Graz. It took a very late goal from Daniel Malin, who actually takes it brilliantly, for Dortmund to defeat Sturm Graz. Actually caught a decent amount in the second half. The flow of play was just Dortmund attacking Sturm Graz, not creating anything concrete, though, weirdly enough.
That's weird.
Pretty weird against Sturm Graz. And Sturm Graz, honestly, looking like they're having fun because they were defending a lot, but every time they had an opportunity, they just tried to counter. Like, they weren't scared, and I loved that lack of fear that they had against Dortmund in Germany as well. Honestly, brilliant to see from this Austrian side, who probably didn't expect to get any result here. And honestly, I think they worked hard enough to deserve a draw because they were defending brilliantly. They weren't allowing Dortmund to completely cut them open, but there was like a slight error in the center back that led to Malin getting on the ball, and then it ended up being that singular mistake that gives Dortmund the win. So I think Sturm Graz at the end of it were like, damn, we almost had a draw.
Yeah, Daniel Malin getting a beautiful class finish to give them the game winner here. Dortmund following this performance after defeating Leipzig in the league. I remember seeing that this weekend convincingly too. Their offense looked like it was back to their best selves, and then they get a result here in the dying moments. Though this was tight for a while from when I was following it, and I was a little surprised to see it so close for so long. They get the 3 points to now move themselves into 4th place. 3 wins, 1 loss. For me, it's more so just they're a really good team. They're a good team, but they can be a little inconsistent so far this year. And I don't know if I can trust them, almost like on a Tottenham type wave. I don't know if I can trust them to consistently put out these type of performances. So far, they've done just enough to be in the automatic qualifying zone. I do like what I'm seeing from them, but I'd like to see them just continue this trend of getting victories because they're coming off of a period of form where they had lost 3 or 4 games straight, bro. And so it's good to see them kind of start turning the corner. I want to see them turn that corner fully and give me more convincing performances.
Yeah, I think for the rest of the season, I'm just going to go to that Madrid crumbling, bro, where they just caved. And I think that's going to leave a sour taste in my mouth when I try to consider Dortmund as a team that can make a deep run, because I think their defense in general has just been more open than usual. They still have incredible firepower, which makes Dortmund a very interesting team and, gives them this really decent record so far in the Champions League. But I just don't know if I can trust their defense overall, especially considering that Madrid result.
Yeah. Now Sturm Graz is in the bottom 5. It's how it was going to go for them.
Yeah.
It's how it was going to go for them.
I don't even want to be critical to them because they played, I think, the best that they could have. Sturm Graz, this is probably their best era ever, considering that they're in a league with Salzburg, who dominate so much usually. For Sturm Graz to even be here, I think, is a massive feat in and of itself. So I thought they had a great performance, and I think they should keep their heads up high.
We had another game winner occur as well, as AS Monaco defeats Bologna in the dying moments. 86th minute, Thilo Kerr gets on the board to give Monaco the lead, 1-0 result. And with that result, they move up right above Dortmund in third place. 3 wins, 1 draw for Monaco as they defeat Bologna, who's on a similar wave as Bayer Leverkusen and Girona, man.
Yeah.
A team that had a great season last year, struggling now to hold their own in the Champions League.
Yeah, it's tough, but I mean, you can't blame them. They lost Xerxes, right, to Manchester United. He was a fantastic player for them last year. Then, of course, Calafiori, right? It's like, imagine if Calafiori was still there with them this year. Like, that would have been just so cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you get results like this. Nice little flick from Mbolo, though, to give it to Kerr, who improvises very well, just pokes his leg out, gets the game winner. Good for Monaco. Just, I guess, disappointing for Bologna, but yeah, I mean, I think for them to continue their form from last year was always going to be tough.
Yeah, for Monaco, for me to fully buy in, I need to see them have this sort of performance, get 3 points against one more elite team, maybe 2 more, because they beat Barcelona. I think they're only team to have beaten Barca this year in their first Champions League game. And that was great. That was at home, 2-1 result, credit to them. But I need to see that happen one more time, because so far they faced Dinamo Zagreb afterwards, got a result there. Beat Red Star Belgrade 5-1 there, and now Bologna. I need to see one more, man. I need to see way harder to fully get on board them being a third place team in the Champions League. Yeah. We have noted them as being a feisty potential round of 16 matchup, but can they go deep in the quarters? Can they make a surprise run in the semis? They're going to have to show that in their future games where they face off against Arsenal, for example, in a couple of weeks, or Aston Villa in January. That's where I'm going to have to see it from Monaco. But so far, so good, and credit to them. They're in the race for potentially being a really good team in this tournament.
Yeah, and I think there was a red card in that Barcelona game.
Yeah,
honestly.
there was.
So I think that again, I need to see way more, honestly, from Monaco, especially because they've low-key have been disappointing in the league as of recently. There was an opportunity for them to really keep it tight with PSG, but they've gotten a couple of draws when I don't think they should have, to be honest. And honestly, their schedule in the Champions League has been pretty easy. I need to see way more from Monaco before I buy into them.
Okay. You buying into Dinamo Zagreb football?
No, come on, man. They played the worst team in the league in Bratislava on the road. I think this is more so how bad Bratislava are.
Will Dinamo Zagreb qualify in the second bracket?
Oh, yeah.
Will they qualify? Because the last place for that is 24th place. They're currently in 14th. After starting off their Champions League campaign, losing 9-2 against Bayern Munich, they've responded in an incredible fashion for Dinamo Zagreb, getting a result today against Bratislava, 4-1, getting 3 points here, and now they have 7 points in total, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, in 14th place. Will they do enough to sustain themselves in this second tier qualifying so that maybe they have a shot at making it to the round of 16?
I mean, maybe they get that 23rd, 24th spot. Maybe they sneak right in there, but I just need to see them play, against tougher teams, or just even mid-table Champions League teams, bro. Because I think what Bratislava showed at home is that I don't even know if they'll pick up a point this whole campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bratislava I had nominated as potentially the worst team in the Champions League, and this, I think, is starting to confirm it, man. They're looking really, really rough, but hey, they're just happy to be here.
Yeah.
They're just happy to be
here. Come
here.
on, huh?
You think Girona's happy to be here?
They're having to work so hard and they're not getting shit done.
I don't know, man. Yeah, this might be one of the worst deals you can get offered in the Champions League, because they are trying, bro. And they've been trying. In every match that I've seen them in, there's been a slight sliver of hope for them to get a point. And then at the end of the day, it just crumbles, man. Crumbles like a Jenga tower. And now you have PSV getting 4 past them at home.
Yeah, honestly, this game was really exciting for the first 10 minutes. Both teams were just going at each other, and that Girona hope that you just mentioned was on full display because they actually had the best opportunity very early on in the game, a point-blank shot, but it goes right at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper does well to stay up, stay strong. And then after that, a couple of defensive howlers from Girona led to PSV getting a 2-0 lead. The first one, it was off a throw-in, bro. It was off a throw-in. Yeah. Girona defenders just don't do any. They don't go to the ball. They let it come into their box. And Ryan Flamingo, what a name!
I could not believe that when I saw it.
What a name!
We got a Flamingo.
We got a Flamingo on the pitch, and he just comes storming in, and he gets a foot on it, and PSV go up 1-0. But come on, bro! Just body up in the box. It's not a corner kick. It's not a cross. It's a throw-in. It was just way too easy for PSV. And then the second goal, U.S. men's national team player Malik Tillman is in acres of space, and not a single Girona defender tries to go up and stop him. They backtrack. And then Tillman just takes the shot. He says, thank you very much. PSV go up 2-0. And then from that point on, Girona are like, we're not going to score 2. We're not getting back into this one. PSV score a couple more. Girona get a red card. Yeah. It's just ended terribly for Girona, but it's completely on them. PSV play a good game. Girona they just don't got it.
Yeah, on an important day for America, we have incredible American performances all across the UCL, man. Malik Tillman, Yunus Musa, Christian Pulisic, all great. Yeah. Anthony Robinson was awesome in that Fulham game just yesterday as well. Americans are feeling good right now, and I think it showed because it was the first half Malik Tillman masterclass that defined the game. Yeah. Up 2-0 by that point. Girona was not getting back into it, and PSV get their first win of their Champions League campaign after tying 2 matches and losing 1 before this game. Girona falls out of the top 24. They're now in 26th place at this moment. With more games coming tomorrow, they might end up being in 30th place, man. It's not looking good for Girona. No. It's not looking good. And for PSV, I'm not very excited about them either. This is the first positive result, and we saw how they came to be.
Yeah, exactly. For PSV, they're interesting. They're that classic Dutch football team where in every game, I do think they have good moments, but their defense is just too leaky. And I think against better teams, I would be surprised if PSV can find themselves in a tight match. Their offense is interesting, but I just think ultimately they don't have enough. But against games like this, teams like Girona, I do think they can flourish.
We got some good games coming tomorrow with Inter versus Arsenal, PSG, Atletico Madrid, if you're interested. Yeah, you interested?
I don't know, man. I legit. If I want to just be happy tomorrow, I might not watch that game.
Yeah, maybe go watch the Aston Villa Club Bruges game.
I'll definitely watch that one.
That's another good one right there. Brest, they've been off to a really good start. They get Sparta Prague tomorrow. Can they continue their momentum? Atalanta football, Bayern Munich football. We have a lot of football to cover tomorrow, so we will be back with another UCL roundup at the same time. And we'll see all you guys there. Let us know your thoughts on today's games and results. Till next time, guys. Peace.